Yeah.
We have the dreaded fog has reached us. Been very foggy for the past 2 days. Hopefully it's just regular fog. It doesn't look weird, doesn't smell weird, so hopefully there's nothing weird about it. But
So
the dreaded fog.
Trump came out with the drones and he said, "Oh, it's all research stuff. We know what it is. It's all our own research and hobbyists." Do we believe that?
There's got to
Crazy,
be
isn't
more to
it?
this.
He says there it just turns out it's conventional craft and it's FAA approved. Yet for the last 2 months, we've been seeing loads of news reports about how the FAA have been closing down airports because drones have been flying. Why would
Yeah.
they close airports that drones have been flying that they can't track if they'd approved the drones? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've closed the airspace at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base a couple times because of drones. We don't get them as much as out east, but we've gotten them.
And how does that, how does it affect the ones like in the UK? We've had multiple drone, attack not attacks, but flyovers of Air Force bases like Lakenheath here in the UK. How the FAA have no kind of domination here in the UK. It's the Civil Aviation Authority. So how does that work out? None of it makes sense. It's a complete Roswell. It's like a Roswell whitewash. It's almost as bad as when they said that the Roswell event was them dropping
Weather
crash
balloon.
test dummies from air balloons and stuff.
Oh yeah, but that one that came out. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
test dummies. That, uh, well, they just
Swamp
had you
gas.
lying.
Mom
That's what they'll
gas.
say next. It's swamp gas.
Oh,
So I was hearing that
continues for a
people
second.
that are in the areas where that strange fog hits get there's a lot of cases of pneumonia and respiratory like related illnesses and all that stuff. So some lady was recommended you do a parasite cleanse because I guess they sampled the fog and found they were loaded with parasites. So if you're getting that fog, Edward, you might want to look into that. I don't know.
I got the Rife machine. They have a
Nice.
parasite killing frequency, so we'll probably use it. It doesn't look strange to me. I've seen some of the videos where it looks like it's kind of snowing and all this kind of shit. Just looks like regular fog. It doesn't smell weird.
Okay, that's good.
So I don't know what's going on out the other places, but hopefully there's nothing weird going on here. Just rainy and dreary.
Should we also maybe discuss the Chinese AI DeepSeek that crashed all the world's economies for a couple of days there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
what was
it
up
as
with
good as
that?
they say it is, or was that a cycle? Was that,
I've played
yeah.
with it. I downloaded it and signed up and just asked it a couple of questions about remote viewing. Like, I asked it about remote viewing, and then I said, "What can you tell me about Daz Smith, the remote viewer?" And it came up with a ream of information, and it really coherent. It's probably the best bio of myself that I've ever seen written, and it was there within half a second.
Wow.
So
Wow,
I'm
so
impressed by
it is that good, huh?
it's so far. I've only used it twice. So far it's better than the Google and the OpenAI Chat GPT one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very concerning that that's coming out of China, man.
Well, the AI wars are on, you know,
Yep.
and
Yep. I
it's
mean,
not
how are the others? For the professional services
disciplined.
for ChatGPT and OpenAI, $200+ a month. How are they going to do that now when that you can get everything that they're offering with this Chinese one for free?
How
It's
do
going
As
to
you
you
be
access
mentioned,
that, Daz?
You can get an app on your phone. I just downloaded the app on my phone, and the app went to number one position on the Google store in one day with something like 50 million downloads in one day, something absolutely crazy. So
So,
you can get the
so
app, or I think you can just do it for a web server. If you know a bit about what you're doing, you can actually download it because it's free and open source, all the code. You can download it on your computers and stuff and make as many changes as you want and stuff to it.
so everything about your life within Bluetooth Wi-Fi range is now going direct to China. They've just downloaded everything about you. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's no different than everything going to Meta and Google, is it? I guess.
Yeah.
It's on. You can't get away from it at this point, you know.
Yeah.
It's the AI Cold War.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, Nvidia, I think they lost, wasn't it 480 billion in one day? It was the biggest stock loss in world, in world history.
Yeah,
17% of their entire total value gone in like 2 or 3 hours. Crazy.
just
It,
shellacked.
it crushed cryptos too, pretty good.
Yeah.
But cryptos are struggling back. So crazy times.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see if it has an impact on all the AI based cryptos that some of us have been investing in as well.
Didn't our financial data indicate that around the February timeframe there would be a big hit to the economy, but then later on towards like March and June timeframe it was even bigger? I wonder if
Yeah, I don't know.
Have to go back and
Yeah.
look at it.
I lose track, to be honest.
I know we do so many
Yeah.
sessions, but I'm just
I'm
wondering
kind,
if that
I'm
deep
kind of
state.
wondering if there might be a further development later in the year that might do the session that Dick, with the big hole in the market, and
Right.
then
Yeah.
that we all RV'd. I mean, if it comes from anywhere now, seeing what impact that this AI had for the last couple of days, that could be the precursor to something even bigger if another development comes out.
Here's the thing with AI. If China's giving that as a free app, what do they have in private? What's the really good one that they're not giving us? What can that do?
Or
Yeah.
you could also ask, what is releasing this doing for them? Like, is it gathering our data and sending it to them? You know what I mean?
How can it not? I think that's what
Well,
all
I think that already,
allegedly it's not
someone already
because
posted that. Someone
it's all
posted
open
the,
source. The code is, you can look at and dissect the entire code from the entire thing. So it's hard to do it in that response, but who knows, I
someone-
guess.
I saw someone posted a screenshot where it said all the data is saved in a, computer server in China or something like that. I mean, I think that's pretty much obvious though.
What's amazing is that they managed to do it with O chips, O technology, and they did it for, wasn't it something like 25 million, where OpenAI and the others are spending 500 million or something on what they've been doing. So
Yeah.
that's the amazing thing behind it. And everyone's asking the question now is, how can they can do it for cheap, so cheap? What are you spending your money on?
I think that's what Trump was saying. Yeah, he's like, wait a minute, they did it for how much? We got to
Yeah.
renegotiate this deal.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking that it might destroy that Project Stargate that Trump came out with, a few weeks ago with
That's
that
what I
new
mean. Yeah,
500 million or 500
500
billion AI
billion.
initiative.
Yeah.
And what's up with naming it Project Stargate? Seriously, that can't be an accident. Somebody knew what they were doing.
It messes things up somewhat. Yeah.
Right. I mean, are they trying to completely bury the remote viewing program so that overwhelms it and nobody ever would ever find remote viewing? Or are they trying to bring attention to it? I don't know.
Or
Who knows?
Stargate is a cool name. Like that's one of the cooler names, Stargate.
It is
And
a
they
cool name.
looked that up and they said, have we used Stargate? Oh yeah, that was a defunct remote viewing program that we used 40 years ago and it's dissolved, so we can recycle that name. Might be that.
And it's a cool name.
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of like in the movie Stargate, they walk through the Stargate, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
That kind of has that feeling to me, like you could be going into an unknown world here once you walk through that bad boy.
The metaverse.
It's on, man. This is the AI Cold War has begun. I mean, it had already begun. It's just becoming like mainstream news now. It's on, baby.
And the other big piece of news, guys, I don't know if you've seen this as well or if you've been exposed to it, but some UAP whistleblowers have come forward the last 2 weeks, 3 or 4 of them. And some videos have been released as well, of experiments. And there's quite a lot of talk now about a lot of government use and now private firm use of people they call psionics. So essentially intuitives and psychic people to contact and communicate and fly UAP craft, and they've allegedly caught some of this stuff on videotape as well. So essentially, there's a psychic or remote viewer there that puts his consciousness out there, connects to the craft, and actually then connects to and pilots the craft, and then they catch it on film and stuff. And there's a lot of that happening out there right now, and all these people offering courses in C5 or encounters or talking to craft using remote viewing and what they call psionics. So you're classed as a psionic asset. Um, and I have to be honest, some of the statements from the special forces trained whistleblowers seemed quite compelling, that they are using and they've set up private corporations with funding now. One's called Skywatch, to hook psychics up with teams of specialists, film crews, scientists, and they're going out to the desert and places like that, and they're kind of experimenting with contacting these alleged craft.
Where's the story? Is a story coming from a good source, or
Yeah, it initially came out in an interview. Russ Colhart, he's a UAP interviewer from Australia, with a whistleblower called Barber. I can't remember his first name. That came out last week, and literally 24 hours ago, a piece of footage came out on the Skywatcher's website, which is essentially this company that's been set up by covert ex-special forces people that were involved in alleged crash recoveries, that are now working with science teams and media and psychic people to communicate and call down the craft. And they've actually got examples of it live on camera of them doing that. I can send you the link off camera if you want for that. They've put out their first part one of their documentary that came out yesterday, and the rest is coming, I think, in a week or so's time. But literally on my X feed, all I'm seeing everywhere is the word psionic assets, and people now taking consciousness interactions with everything in the universe, like what we've been doing with remote viewing, way more seriously. So you'll see the numbers going up on anyone wanting to take any kind of training and everything right now.
Well, that guy, Dan Sherman, wrote the book Above Black, and he claimed to have been in the Air Force and then worked for the NSA. And he said he was trained to communicate psychically with aliens for a time when that would be needed when things broke down. So he wrote this book, and he was on Art Bell. We could probably find this Art Bell. Most of Art Bell is online, I think.
Yeah,
Find the Dan Sherman interview.
I do
And
remember that. Yeah,
Art Bell, Glenn came on, and he goes, west of the Rockies. How you doing? And it's Glenn. And I go, that's Glenn. And he says, so Dan, when you were at the NSA, and he gave some code words like only an insider would know, what did you do with this and what would happen here? And Dan Sherman answered it all correctly. And Glenn said, I verified him. I asked him questions that only an insider would know. So he validated. Glenn is the least UFO, guy I know, but he said guy checked out. So that was 30 years ago, 25,
Yeah.
27 years ago.
With the whistleblowers that have come forward this last week, they have support from 4 or 5 other people that came out at the same time. Again, ex-special forces with impeccable records that you can validate, and it's getting quite spicy, quite interesting out there. But yeah, there's a huge rush of people wanting to become psionic assets, or they want to learn remote viewing, or they want to be able to call down and talk to UAP type craft. It's literally swamping X and UFO Twitter right now.
Well, the truth is probably much stranger than we can imagine. So we're thinking, okay, they're going to release UFO reality, but you think it's a physical craft that comes down and lands, and you go, "Hi, Earthlings," but maybe they are interdimensional and they communicate telepathically, and they've been, using remote viewing to. And maybe AI is way farther along than they're letting us know. And it really, I mean, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how I can put in a search term, I mean, a description on Grok, which is the X, and it'll spit out 4 images in 4 seconds of like just whatever I describe. It's kind of fun, but we're like, I kind of understand how computers work, but AI, I can't form a, I even now, I can visualize how blockchain works. Like I understand how blockchain works, like Bitcoin. Finally, I can wrap my head around that. It's distributed on all these machines and they verify and then because, but AI is like, where does that live?
So, Dick, you haven't played with like Google Gemini where it's conversational, so you can literally sit down and have proper full-blown human-like conversations with it on any topic.
I haven't done that yet. I need to get on with
But
that.
and the
Is
great
it
thing is as
voice
well,
thing too?
it's got like about 8 voices, so you can even choose the friendliest voice that you want to hear, you know, female or male as well.
Wow, it's Google Gemini is what it's called?
Google Gemini, yeah, I have it on my phone as an app, and you can just, you know, I swipe it and, you know, it says what do you want to talk about, and you can just like pick a subject, any subject, and you can have a conversation. And as it's actually, you know, having a conversation with you, you can even interrupt it mid-flow and then change the tone of the conversation and move it in different directions, and it adapts instantly and can do this with you as well.
So,
Interesting.
so we're all going to have personal assistants
Yeah.
that will do stuff for us. Like, what do I need to do today? What do I need to know today? And it'll tell
Yeah.
you your appointments and you can ask it a question like,
Yep.
how do I say this in Korean? Or,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
And
Yeah, they're called AI agents.
they just released AI agents. I don't know if you've seen those, Dick. They come out this week. So you can literally say to the AI now, I'd like to have a holiday in Brazil, a one-bedroom apartment. It's got to be within this price range. Can you go out now and get me 10 examples to book straight away? And it would actually go out to all the websites, put in those parameters into all the filters on the websites like you would do if you were sat there. And then it would look for it and then it would bring all the information back to you for you to make a choice.
Wow.
I just barely learned how to use Travelocity to book an airline ticket. Like literally last week, I did it successfully. I was like, hey, I did that. Like, so Mimi and I went to get our TSA pre-check. So I filled out a thing online where you gotta like type your name, your address, oh, your previous address, all your description, you know, all this endless shit, and then they got to do a two-factor authentication code to your email, and then they send another one to your phone. You got to do that, and it's just like and I spent 4 hours doing this. So we go down. You got to do it in person, and I did Mimi's and it let me pick an office building in downtown Honolulu, but mine, it told me I had to go to the airport and I could not get it to choose other place. So I go in and Mimi's got the appointment and I said, oh, I'm with her. And okay, the guy didn't want to let me go because I didn't. So, and he was mildly, can I say retarded? Yeah. And so I pay $77 for each of us to get the TSA pre-check. But if you want the global one, that's $100 and you got to go through the whole friggin' rigmarole and fill out everything from scratch. If I got the global first, it would have included, yeah. Trump and Elon need to fire all those people. They need to gut the TSA. It was just the Dick and Mimi meet the bureaucracy for a day. It was a nightmare. It was awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still remember when it was just the airport that ran the security, and it was so much more.
So
It
much
was so much
better.
easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never had to federalize that.
Yeah, that was like, well, I remember I have a friend that I worked with as a cameraman. How'd you get to Hawaii? He said, well, I was in Denver. And my friend had a ticket to Hawaii and he couldn't use it. And he said, do you want a ticket to Hawaii? And he gave him his ticket. And so he just walked out to the airport, showed the ticket, and got on the plane.
Yeah,
It
can't do
even-
that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So different world. Different world. Okay, boys, that's enough bitching and moaning today.
Yeah, it was a good one. We'll see what
Yeah.
the month
You
holds
know
in
that
store for us.
that one you had, Dick, with the Jesus thing? I was thinking, isn't that like Project Bluebeam? Is it Bluebeam where they said they're gonna like
Yeah.
project an
Yeah.
image of somebody in the sky or something like that? I would not be surprised if we're moving into that era.
The quality of the collection of that data had that little out of left field weirdness that good remote viewing data gets, you know.
I
It's
sensed
that,
that.
it's like, what is, why, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that down. I'm just making that. No, I'm not making that up. That popped into my mind and like, and I'm drawing it and going, yeah, somebody's going to see that and they're going to get really hyperactive about it. So see if that one comes true. Okay, finally, we'll talk about how much fun it is now to try to do monthly events because we've been doing it so long and okay, we got the volcano, we got the fire, we got the hurricane, we got the plane crash, and now they come around again. And then there's so much expectation with Trump and what's going on and the economy. It's a bear to sit down and clear your mind and
Yeah, it's very challenging. It's more challenging than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but since the luminosity thing from October, November 2023, we had that luminosity. It's been a challenge ever since then. You know, there was like something about that one, about that specific period that, something shifted in the force, man.
it used to be, here's my analogy, doing monthly predictions like even 7 years ago, certainly 12 years ago, was like you go in an empty auditorium in the dark and you're in this quiet place and somebody walks over here and close the door and you go, I heard somebody walk through and close the door. Or over here, two people are having a conversation and you go, yeah, they're talking about, yeah, I heard him mention the something, you know, and you get a subject. So it's like being in this quiet room and little things happen. Now it's like being in a place with a Broadway show going on and tap dancers and lights flashing and 1,000 people talking all at once and bombs going off.
off.
And we're trying to grab some little faint thing from that, but it's just this.
Cacophony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, man. It is crazy time.
I got mad for you guys doing that every month. Good job.
Well, we
Challenge.
enjoy it.
Yep.
It's a challenge and
Yeah.
it's eerie, spooky, creepy, weird. We love it. We just revel in that. That is really strange. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do the best we can.
Naeem, quit talking so much. You're just really dominating how's everything up there in Canada?
Freezing, frozen solid out here.
Are you guys joining us as the 51st state or what?
I mean, I wouldn't mind, honestly. I'm ready.
And maybe bring down the price of fuel in Canada, maybe.
Yeah, bring down the taxes. Our currency is like collapsing. It's horrible.
You know, I remember like 20 years ago, I'm here seeing an article that Canada had paid off its debt and it was debt free or something like that. Remember that? Like 2005,
Yeah,
somewhere
before
like that.
Trudeau.
And it was like, Canada, they paid off their debts and now they're gonna flourish. It's gonna be great. And yeah, pre-Trudeau.
Yeah, we need drama in our lives, or else we're not happy. Subconsciously, we crave drama.
Well, we're gonna get it, so we'll all be happy.
Well,
Yeah.
that was part of the storyline of the movie The Matrix. He's like, well, in the first
You're right.
Matrix, it was perfect, and you know everything was perfect, and everybody rebelled or whatever. They preferred to have the drama, so we had to change it for him or something along those lines.
I remember going to the Matrix with a couple of the viewers from Hawaii Remote Viewers Guild, Jason Becerra, Jim Carlson, who was a really good viewer, a Swedish guy, spoke like 4 languages, and Valtra, who was a really good viewer. And we all went to this movie and watched it. And we came out and we were just going, holy shit, that was intense.
Yeah.
That was
It made you rethink reality. Like you always took it for granted, and then that movie was like wow, what is reality? Like would I be able to know it?
okay. When that came out, like what, 25 years ago, if you would
1999.
have described AI in like, if you would have sat any of us down and said, have a chat with AI or have it draw a picture for you, or it would have seemed magical.
Mhm.
So, you know, I can't wait to hear the interview Joe Rogan does with Ross Ulbricht. He's the Silk Road guy that got put in prison for 2 life terms and then out
Okay.
after 11 years. What's his experience going to be? He was so immersed in technology and then completely cut off. You can't have a computer, no internet access. You're in a cell for 11 years and then get out, and what his observation will be on AI and the world situation.
I'm sure Rogan will be like, all right, dude, give us a scoop. You got a couple of hard wallets, you know, with 1,000 Bitcoin, right? Somewhere. Just nod if it's a yes. You don't have to say. I'm sure he's going to be. I think I heard
I
Tucker is going to interview him too. I don't know. He'll be hitting the circuit soon enough. He's
Yeah,
gonna.
I thought I read
Speaking of-
somewhere that he did have wallets with $44 million in it.
Oh my goodness.
Of
Well,
Bitcoin.
I'd
he's
be, I'd
I
be
had heard
disappointed
that
if he didn't.
Sean Bledsoe.
What's that?
Oh, sorry.
what was Bitcoin
Sorry, I think my
worth in
internet did a
2012?
hiccup there, but
It's like 10
Yeah,
bucks.
Like 13
$500
bucks
bucks.
in 2012. So he had $25 million worth of Bitcoin when it was 10, 12, $15.
What? He had that much worth of Bitcoin
He had
then?
25, he was worth 25 million when they arrested him.
He's like a trillionaire now.
yeah.
But the
He's a-
government took it.
He's richer than Elon Musk.
Yeah, it says
Some of
here
it.
on Decrypt 6 days ago, untouched Bitcoin wallets linked to Ross Ulbricht and Silk Road are now worth over 47 million.
47 million?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, DOJ was just
Awesome.
authorized, like in the last days of the Biden administration, DOJ got approved to cash in
So
his
what I was
six-
trying to say earlier
his
was
$6.5 billion wallet of Bitcoin. It was up to 6.5 billion.
6.5 billion. Wow. And they
But-
stole it from him.
apparently Chris Bledsoe went on Sean Ryan's podcast, and it's not going to get released. Did you guys hear anything about that?
Who's Chris
that?
Bledsoe?
Who's that?
He's the guy that can call the orbs in with his mind, kind of like that psionic stuff we were talking about earlier.
He-
But like he'll go out and he just
Yeah.
kind of does his thing, and like these orbs show up, and he's been on a bunch of shows.
He claims to be a bit of a prophet, doesn't he? I think his book.
I don't know
his
much
book-
about him. Yeah,
Something to do with God. I can't remember the title. Something to do with God. It is on the title. Prophet
Yeah.
of God or something weird like that.
That's funny because I don't know if you guys remember it, but I remember it very clearly. This was back in probably 2004 or something like that. There was a guy who went by the nickname Prophet Yahweh, and he was saying he could call in orbs and UFO. You remember that guy, Daz?
Yeah.
Prophet
yeah.
Yahweh? And the news crew went out there. He's like, meet me at this park. And his news crew went out there, and he whoa. And all of a sudden they're like, look, there's something in the sky. There it is. It's coming down.
Well, literally everyone's doing it. And when we're offline, I'll tell you something something that happened to me this week. But I
Okay,
can't
well,
tell
it's
the
been
subscribe.
good talking to you, folks. We're gonna have to.
Oh, Daz, that's not allowed. You can't do that. You got to tell it now.
Are
Because
we even
the
recording?
subscribers are listening.
Yeah.
You can,
I-
it's private with our subscribers. We
I
won't.
can't name names on camera. All I can say is